You know, with both Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves in this movie, I'm surprised there's not a theory going around that John Wick's world is really just the rebooted world of The Matrix. I don't know, it could work if you think about it. Oh well. It's LazerDude time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. I'll talk about movies and comics too. Let's all go watch the review. Yeah. Hello everybody, I am LazerDude99. Welcome to another LazerDude review. Today we are reviewing John Wick Chapter 2. John Wick, what a surprise that one was. I mean, I remember when I saw the trailers for it, I thought, alright, here we go, another overblown revenge shoot-'em-up movie. This is gonna be nothing. Keanu Reeves, man, that guy's sure fallen off the face of the earth. And then everyone was talking about it. I'm like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's John Wick. John Wick was amazing. Oh my gosh, it was so good. The characters were great. And I'm like, really? Because I had decided in my mind that Keanu Reeves was one of those actors that just wasn't very good. You know, it was like he had such little range in how he could portray himself. It was like really like, oh come on, he's not that great of an actor. And so when everyone was talking about it, I'm like, man, jeez, everyone's going gaga over this film. Whatever. So I didn't even see it in theaters. I'm like, whatever. People are probably just, because it's, early in the year and they see something halfway decent and they go gaga over it. So whatever. But eventually I saw a copy of it in, I think it was like a bargain bin or something. And, you know what? Everyone seemed to really like that movie. Let me watch it and see what I think. And my gosh, I was pleasantly surprised. Even with everyone saying how good it was, I was still surprised at how much I enjoyed the first John Wick. I think that's because it's on the one hand, its story is typical and very, you've seen it a million times, a guy wants revenge and goes bang, bang, bang to anybody who gets in his way. But, and when I heard that, it was like, okay, he gets his revenge over his dog, seriously, goes out all the way, all this for his dog, that's a kind of a lame motivation. And like, don't get me wrong, I love dogs. This is my little puppy right here, isn't she the cutest? But, okay, my parents' dog, but whatever, I still consider her mine. Anyway, but, it's just like, I was like, really? This is the motivation? Why? That didn't really make any sense to me. So when I put it in there and watched the movie, I'm like, oh, the dog was a gift to him from his dead wife, and that's like his last, stranglehold on his old life. The last stranglehold on this, and when you get rid of the dog, he goes right back to his old life, and he's ready to kill anybody and everybody that gets in his way. Bang, 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 bang. I did think it was, pretty typical for a revenge flick in that way, the story. What really sold me on it was the world. They do such a clever job of making this the world of John Wick is not our world. And that's very clear with everything. With the way the people react. In that movie, a cop walks in and sees like 20 dead bodies on the floor. He's not like, oh, we got an APB with a bomb, back, blah, 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 people shot. He's like, so, you working again, John? He's like, still sorting some things out. And I'm just like, wow, okay, is that unrealistic? For our world, yes, but for this world, this is obviously a world that works differently from Mars. And the more we dive in, the more we see it. The Continental, this hotel, where it's just like, all the killers and assassins congregate, but nobody is allowed to fight there, and everybody obeys the rules. And the one person who doesn't, you can see that, wishes they did. And so that's what really hooked me, that John Wick lived in this world that was, run by the assassins and the corrupt, and it was, in a world that had gotten so used to that they don't care anymore. This is just the way that the world works, and they're okay with it. And let's just say that the action was incredible. You know, the shooting, the bang, and the way they built up John Wick as a character. I was just like this unstoppable man, and it was just like, yeah, this is really good. So I was actually looking forward to the sequel. I'm like, okay, I want to see what they do with this. You know, if they just, you know, bog it down into another typical action sequel, then, you know, I'm not entirely on board. But if they give us more of the world and more of these type of characters we want to see in this interesting world, the way it works, and if they give us that, then I'm fully on board, and thankfully I think we got that. Keanu Reeves, of course, is once again John Wick. He's now, after he's killed like almost all of the Russians mob that was in the first one, he has a little bit to deal, and you know what, okay, this is just a little spoiler but nothing big for the main plot, but the opening starts with him going up against the brother of the guy in the first film. And when I saw this, I'm like, this better not be the main villain of the movie. I didn't think it was, but this better not be the main villain of the movie. And then when it was, I'm like, that's just right there, them poking fun at typical action movie sequels. You know, where it's just like, oh, I'm the brother of the man that you killed last time, and nobody kills my brother like that. I'm looking at you, Taken. So they get that right out of the way, that showing the brother of the guy in the first film, he just goes up against him, and then that's it. That's done. It's over with. Basically, right there, it's showing, hey, this is not going to be like those typical action movie sequels. We're going to do something new. We got this guy Santino, played by Riccardo Stamarcio, and he was the guy that got John out. You know, when John said, I want out, give me an out. This was the guy that got John out. However, to do that, he left him what's called a marker. Basically, it's an IOU. Basically, you seal the marker, you give it to the guy, and it's an IOU. I will do whatever you want. You just get one thing with the marker. John, of course, doesn't want to do that. He's like, look, I'm done. I'm done. I am done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, you gotta do this or else all of the organization is going to be coming after you, and I'm going to be coming after you, and so you need to do this or else. And so, you know, he goes to the guy at the hotel who we saw, played by Ian McShane, Winston, and says, you know, what do I do? He's like, look, if you want to kill this guy, you kill him afterwards, but you got to do what he says, because you gave him the marker of your own free will. And so it's in this movie where he's getting pulled back in, and he has to do this thing. And I like how this movie doesn't pull his punches, because he doesn't want to kill the person he has to go after, but he's willing to do so and go there. And then, of course, that spirals into something bigger, and it goes out of control. And okay, here's the thing. I still think Keanu Reeves is kind of weak as an actor. He doesn't have a lot of range. And I think the more he talks, and he does have to do a lot more talking in this film than he did in the other one, the more he talks, the more I notice how some of his dialogue is a little bit dry. You know, he's talking like this, while other people are talking more naturally. I'm like, oh, Mr. Wick, would you like the 18mm 5,000 bullet round going like bang, 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 and would that be all for you today? He's like, yes. That will be all. However, I don't think that this big as a deal in this it would be for other movies, because it kind of really fits with his character. John Wick himself is really antisocial, and it's really awkward when he talks to people. You know, when he brings in his dog, people ask him, "Oh, does your dog have a name?" And he goes, "No." And so that kind of dry awkwardness, where it's like it sounds a little off, kind of really fits his character. It's like they knew what they had with Keanu Reeves. They knew how he could portray himself, what's his range, and so they decided to make his character somebody that fully fits in his range and where he can go. But even though, as I say, his acting is a little dry, I think what he really pulls off is the gunplay. And whatever shortcomings he has on the acting side, I really think he makes up for it with the action, because his style of gung fu, or whatever you want to call it, is like so entertaining to watch. And it's just like you go, oh, yeah. Oh, that was cool. Oh, you went back and got him. Oh, he's crawling on the ground. Oh, holy shoot. I mean, I just got like the image of like somebody playing Call of Duty who was like a 10,000th prestige or whatever you do, versus all these newbies who had just played for the first time, and it's just like, that's how it looks to me. But I also like how in this movie he doesn't seem as invincible as he did in the other one. Where in the other one he's just like, okay, I will kill everybody and nothing will ever happen to me. I like how in this one the guy is able to turn the people kind of against him, and so it's just like he feels like wherever he turns there's somebody coming after him. And they also got a lot of these cool characters. This one played by, I believe, Ruby Rose. She's I like to, her name from what it says is Aries, but I like to call her Silent but Deadly because she can't speak. She doesn't have a single line, but she uses sign language. And I love that because you know how the John Wick movies love their captionings. You know, it's like how it was like in the last one, whenever he would say Booby Yaga, or however you pronounce the boogeyman in Russian, it was this like going cool looking caption. And they do that a lot, and they can do that even more with sign language captioning, and I like that. And she's actually looks pretty cool and pretty threatening. I actually thought, I'm sorry to say, but I actually thought it was a little boy, like a teenage boy in the trailer. I'm like, oh no, it's a girl, it's a woman. And she's actually pretty good. Common is in this movie. He plays another, like, one of these, like, hitman agents that's after John Wick. Like, the story is typical in terms of action. You know, you give a guy a reason to come after another guy and he shoots all of his bad guys. Yeah. But once again, it's the world that truly stands out. This sort of, like, honor amongst assassins that happens. You know, it's like there's a few scenes where it's just like, man, you know, the way this world works is really twisted. And you know, Ian McShane's character Winston, I grown to see how he's really like the most powerful character in this series. You know, he's just usually just sitting by relaxing and whatnot, but he actually has probably the most power out of anybody. And it's interesting to see because at the end of this, John Wick is really left out into the cold. And he's really left hung to dry. And it's like he's in a situation where it's just like, okay, I want to see the third one, like, now. I want to see where they go with this. I could see at least, I think maybe just one more, but you could almost maybe do 2 more movies. Honestly, you could do, I think 2, like, I don't want John Wick to turn into one of these things where it's just like, it comes out every year. Like, I don't think John Wick is a character like James Bond where you can ride it on forever, but I think it's a character like Jason Bourne where you can get, like, 4 solidly good movies out of it. And, you know, I still think, I think the other one, I think, might relate to people more. People, like, because it's a pure revenge flick and you buy his motivations and you get through. But this one, you get more of this world of assassins and killers, and that makes it so much more interesting to me. I think I can say I enjoyed John Wick 2 more than the first one because of we getting more of this world and the way that is set up. And I love, like, the small details. There's a scene where John Wick is fighting another one of these assassins, and they're fighting each other with knives on this subway. And what are the extras doing? That's what I'm looking at. Let's say you were riding the bus, and 2 people started attacking each other with knives. What would your reaction be? 911, oh my gosh, there's 2 people fighting with knives, they're gonna kill each other, oh my gosh, or they might kill me, oh my gosh, just get police here, yeah, everybody here quickly, oh my gosh. What did the extras do in this movie? Everyone just kind of like moves a little bit away, moves to the left, just like, okay, I'm out of the way. As soon as those, I'm gonna get out of here as soon as I can, but it's none of my business. That's what this world really seems to have it. It's none of my business. All the people, like, when there's something, like, sure, when this gun starts shooting, everybody's running, but we don't see, like, on the news, today a man kills 20 people in the streets. It seems like when you're covered by this organization, everybody, like, covers things for you. There's this thing where a guy just kills 2 people in the subway, and he just nods to 2 guys, and they take the bodies, and then they're gone, and I'm just like, dang, and that's the really interesting world. I would love to see, like, a prequel to show how this world was formed. It seems like a world where, like, during, like, the the Cold War, or maybe even like in World War II, is like everyone, like assassins were the key. They just kept on assassinating the military leaders back and forth, and that became this organization, which led to the criminal organization, and the criminal organizations have taken over the governments, and that's why all these people that can kill 1 million people and have absolutely no consequences, because they're the ones running the world. And I think that's such an interesting thing, and such an interesting world to set up, that maybe in the next few movies, John Wick goes after the organization, tries to change things for the better. But I think that that's what I really enjoy about the John Wick franchise so far, is the world it builds up. I like the character of John Wick. He's pretty much just like, though, the straw man that can do anything to defeat the bad guy. But he does have some good moments. Like, there's a moment where he's like has to kill somebody who he doesn't want to kill, but he's gonna go through with it, and that's like a really interesting moment. Like, looking at it, you're like, man, that's like, this is, whew, I don't even know what to make of this. And then the climax is really good. And Lawrence Fishburne's character, I don't even want to get into, because it's like something that it came out of nowhere, but he almost like steals the show. He's only in the film for like 10, maybe 5 minutes. And yet he's like steals the show with how like over the top funny he is, how he's actually threatening too, and how he can really, I don't know. It's just, he really seems like he's a character that they're setting up to be in the future films, and I'm actually really looking forward to him, because if he's like the villain in the next film, or one of the main villains, or maybe even an ally, I can see, like, that's the thing with his character. It's like he helps him, but he doesn't help him, and he almost doesn't. It's like, it's a really weird thing, and I don't even want to get into it, because I don't want to do a spoiler part with this review. I don't think I need to. It's just, John Wick 2, if you like the first John Wick, I think you're going to enjoy it. I enjoyed it more personally because of the world it gives up. I know for people who maybe like the other one, I think that might be because, as I say, Keanu Reeves' acting is a little stiff and a little dry, but I think that's okay, because, as I said, the character himself is supposed to be a little stiff and a little dry and a little awkward, and I think it works. And I think the way that it ends, I'm actually really looking forward to a next one. I mean, this is not a film series that needs to be coming out in February. This can be a spring release. I think next year, March, or not next year, I mean the next year you make one out, March, April, it can go up against the big boys and it can rake in some dough. But hey, I'm not going to complain if it comes out in February, because at least it gives me something to look forward to. I mean, February is usually a dead month along with January, but at least January you got some of the leftovers from December that you can see, where usually February is just total dead. Here we got 2 really good movies right off the bat, both Lego Batman and John Wick, 2 completely different movies, by the way, but still I enjoyed John Wick thoroughly, and so my rating for John Wick 2 is going to be a 8 out of 10. That's right, I think this is a great movie. I really do. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm not sure if I would rate it, I think I might, if I was giving the original John Wick a rate, I think I might have given that an 8 as well. But I think for my personal taste, I enjoy John Wick 2 more. I'm not sure if I can say it's a better movie, but I think they're mostly on par with each other. I think there's advantages that John Wick has, like you hate the villains more, but I think they're more menacing in this one. They go to more locations, you get to see more of the world, and I love stuff like that. So, yeah. So that's all I have to say about that. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm LazerDude99, and, yeah. Stay frosty. No, that's a terrible saying. That's awful. Stay frosty? What am I? Yo, stay frosty! Oh, that's awful. No, don't be stupid. I don't know. Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.